Hey guys, Ryan here from Indy Wrestling School, and today we're talking about how to get booked on a professional wrestling show. Coming up. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing below. We put out new videos every single week right here on Indy Wrestling School. So there's a couple different ways to get booked on a professional wrestling show. I'll tell you the quick way not to get booked on a wrestling show. Hey, I saw your video. Can I get booked on your show? Just no, that's never gonna work. And for the people who watch these videos and then do that, you have to understand when you're a booker or a promoter, you get those emails every single day. There are thousands of wrestlers out there. Now, who are we actually going to take a chance on? It's typically, at least for me, recommendations from people I'm currently booking. Well, what if I don't know somebody that's currently on your show? Or I don't know anybody in the business? Well, shame on you. You need to start networking. You got to get in there. You got to get involved. You have to get your foot in the door. You have to meet people. I'm not talking about just friend people on Twitter or Facebook. You have to actually form these face-to-face connections. I know everybody out there kind of wants to have these relationships where you can just kind of type a couple sentences back and forth, and where you can just DM somebody on Twitter and then that's good enough and they'll go to vouch for you, but that's really not the way it works. You gotta get in the car with other wrestlers. You have to do those road trips for no money. You have to go out there and really put yourself out there and form friendships, help guys out, drive people to towns even if you're not booked. Because I know personally, if somebody was driving me to a town and they weren't on the show, I was gonna do my best to try to get them on the show. I can tell you, for example, I went to one of Steve Corino's shows in North Carolina. He asked me to do music. Now, I live in New Jersey. That was an 8-hour drive without traffic. And he told me he would book my one friend, Chris Rockwell, on the show. So no problem, he went on the show and my one friend Vin came with us with no guarantee of being on the show. But I told him I would try my best to get him on the show. About a half hour before the show, Corino finally was able to check his messages and stuff like that and said, hey, you know, I saw the thing about Vin. Would he like to wrestle me? We can do like a pre-tape. So before the show, Vin, who had no anticipation of wrestling, but because he got in the car and drove the 8 hours with us down to North Carolina, was able to wrestle Steve Corino on a wrestling show, just out of nowhere. You never know where those opportunities or those chances are gonna come unless you take them. And that includes taking chances, going out there, expecting nothing, and hopefully gaining everything. So if you wanna get booked on a wrestling show, you gotta put yourself out there, and it's not just social media. It's face-to-face interaction that's huge. It's going out, it's helping, doing everything you can to get on the show, showing the promoter or the booker that you will work harder than anybody in his current locker room if they just give you a chance. And I know everybody just wants to kind of send a resume email and hopefully get booked, and sometimes that works out. Sometimes you have a slew of injuries or a bunch of cancellations and you just look for the first email you can. So sometimes that stuff does work, but it's very rare that it does. What do you guys think? What's the quickest way to get booked on a wrestling show? Leave me a comment down below. That's all I got for this week. If you like this video, beat the shit out of the like button, and we'll see you next week right here on Indy Wrestling School.